morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Anustha Acharya. The top stories first. President Bhandari expands Council of Ministers. Newly appointed ministers take oath of office in secrecy. UML continues house obstructions, demands action against defectors. UK removes Nepal from red list. Proof of vaccination is mandatory for entering UK. Suicide attack in Afghanistan kills at least 50. Islamic State claims responsibility for the attack. And England's white short listed for Ballon d'Or award. Chelsea players dominated the list. And now the news in detail. President Vidyadevi Bhandari has expanded the Council of Ministers upon the recommendation of Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba. The newly expanded cabinet has got 11 new faces. A report. The Council of Ministers, headed by Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba, includes Balkrishna Kant as Minister for Home Affairs, Gyanendra Bahadur Karki as Minister for Communication and Information Technology, Pampha Bhusal as Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, and Rajendra Prasad Shrestha as Minister for Federal Affairs and General Administration. Similarly, Bidot Khatioda has been appointed as Minister for Health and Population, while Janardhan Sharma continues his job as Finance Minister. Other faces in the Deuba-led cabinet are Dr. Minendra Prasad Rizal, who has been assigned the defence portfolio, Umakant Chaudhary, water supplies, Dr. Narayan Khadga, foreign affairs, Renu Kumari Yadav, physical infrastructures and transport, Prem Bahadur Ale, culture, tourism and civil aviation, Dilendra Prasad Badu, law, justice and parliamentary affairs, and Devendra Paudel, education, science and technology. Likewise, Mahendra Raya Yadav, Agriculture and Livestock Development, Uma Regmi, Women, Children and Senior Citizens, Sasi Shrestha, Land Management Cooperatives and Poverty Alleviation, Ramkumari Chakri, Urban Development, Gajendra Bahadur Hamal, Industry, Commerce and Supplies, Ramsai Prasad Yadav, Foreign and Environment, Krishna Kumar Shrestha, Labour, Employment and Social Security, Maheshwar Jang Gahatras, Youth and Sports have been inducted in the Council of Ministers. The newly appointed ministers took oath of office and secrecy amid the function organized at the President's house yesterday. President Vidyadevi Bhandari administered the oath of the office and secrecy to them amid a special function. The government formed under the leadership of Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Deuba has been expanded for the fourth time. A total of 9 ministers, including 1 state minister from NC, 6 ministers, including 1 state minister from CPN Maoist Center, 5 ministers, including 1 state minister from CPN Unified Socialist, and 4 ministers from Janata Samajwadi Party are in the cabinet. The main opposition CPN-UML has continued the obstruction of the House of Representatives. Shortly after the commencement of the lower house session yesterday, the UML chanted slogans ignoring the request of Speaker Agni Prasad Sapkota to help the House proceeding. The request was in line with the provision relating to Article 105 of the Constitution and the House of Representatives regulation. The UML has been demanding that 14 parliamentarians where recommended action by the party should be punished. Meanwhile, the session passed a proposal to withdraw the Federal Civil Service Bill 2075 BS with a majority of votes amidst the protest. Minister for Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Gyanendra Bahadur Karki presented the proposal before the session on behalf of Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba. The next meeting of the House of Representatives has been scheduled for 2 p.m. on October 11. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. We continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed a total of 764 new cases of COVID-19 have been reported across the country. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, 1,033 COVID-19 patients recovered from the disease during the same period, taking the recovery caseload to 774,173. The recovery rate stands at 96.7%. Likewise, the virus claimed 10 lives yesterday, taking the death toll to 11,210. Meanwhile, the number of active cases of coronavirus has declined to 15,614. Among them, 14,461 are receiving treatment in home isolation, while 1,153 are being treated in institutional isolation. 313 COVID-19 patients are in ICU, 113 are receiving ventilator support, and 241 are quarantined. Meanwhile, 43,941 people were vaccinated against COVID-19 yesterday. Altogether, 6.44 million people have been fully vaccinated till date, while 8.04 million people have received the first dose of vaccine, according to the ministry. And now the news from economic front. The process of importing 40,000 metric tons of fertilizers pursued by the Agriculture Inputs Company Limited from China has hit a snag. The fertilizer, which includes 35,000 metric tons of urea and 5,000 metric tons of DAP, is yet to arrive in Nepal, according to the chairperson of Silk Transport Private Limited, Ramesh Sherpa. Silk Transport was awarded the contract to bring the fertilizer from the northern neighbor. The farmers in Nepal have been facing problems in commercial farming due to the unavailability of fertilizers. Prime Minister of Nepal has already sent letter to the Chinese embassy in Nepal for its intervention in ensuring that Nepal receives the fertilizer from China at the earliest, but do not avail, Sherpa added. Officer at Tatopani Custom Office, Ganesh Prasad Paudel, said that although the Chinese side has been urged to allow 20 goods-laden vehicles to enter Nepal from China, only up to 12 vehicles are being allowed entry on a daily basis. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back. Now the international news. A suicide bomb attack on a mosque in the Afghan city of Kunduz has killed at least 50 people, officials say, in a deadliest assault since US forces left. According to the BBC, bodies were seen scattered inside the Saad Abad mosque used by the minority Shia Muslim community. More than 100 people were injured in the blast in the northern city. The Islamic State group said it was behind the attack. Sunni Muslim extremists have targeted Shias who they see are heretics. ISK, the Afghan regional affiliate to the IS group that is violently opposed to the governing Taliban, has carried out several bombings recently, largely in the east of the country. Local security officials were quoted by Tolo News as saying that more than 300 people were attending the prayers when the attack happened. The United Nations said Friday's bombing was the third deadly attack this week, apparently targeting a religious institution, and was part of disturbing pattern of violence. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. England's Ellen White and Fran Kirby are on the 20-strong shortlist for the 2021 Women's Ballon d'Or Award. Kirby, 28, helped Chelsea to win the Women's Super League, scoring 16 goals in 18 league games and being named the PFA and FWA Player of the Year. White, 32, scored 15 goals in 32 games for Manchester City last season, although they did not win a trophy. There are 5 Chelsea players on the shortlist for the world's best player, plus Arsenal striker Vivane Medema. The other Blues candidates are Magdalena Eriksson, Sam Kerr, Pernille Harder and Jessie Fleming. This is only the third edition of the Women's Ballon d'Or. Adia Hartberg won the 2018 and Megan Rapinoe the 2019 with no award last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. President Bhandari expands Council of Ministers. Newly appointed ministers take oath of office and secrecy. UML continues house obstructions, demands action against defectors. UK removes Nepal from red list. Proof of vaccination is mandatory for entering UK. Suicide attack in Afghanistan killed at least 50. Islamic State claims responsibility for the attack. And England's white shirt listed for Ballon d'Or award. Chelsea players dominated the list. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.